So when you're scoring on this scoring tool, this is the top, this little thing is the bottom. So you're gonna put your top of your paper up here. And you can use this little guide. Uh-oh.
I got it.
Okay, Jen, thank you.
Good.
Just hold that for
I
me
will.
for now. So this little guide, and I'm gonna really read right here. You make sure you get a good photo of that. So this little guide says top of the paper. So top of the paper is up here and you're gonna score it. Now this has two ends. Because we're using the DSP, not cardstock, use the tiny end.
Okay.
It won't push through. If you use this big end, you might actually cut through your paper. So you're gonna score it at 2.5. That's all. And 8 1/4. This is why the scoring tool should be.
That's lovely.
Especially if you make boxes, envelopes, bags. You should own this. Now, turn your DSP 90 degrees. And I've got the picture written where your top is. So this is my top. Now I'm going to turn it there.
Counterclockwise.
Yep. It really won't matter.
Okay.
It really won't matter. But for the way I wrote the instructions, it kind of does. Then you're going to score again at 2 and 5 3/4, I think. Yes. So you're just putting the little ball right in that little groove, and you just go slowly. Don't feel like you have to rush, and then it will stay in the groove all the way down. Now you're going to turn this is the top still, you're going to turn it 180 degrees. So the top is over here, and you're doing the same thing again, 2 and 5 3/4. Just always make sure your paper is up there in the corner. So scoring down, and 5 3/4. Okay? All right. Any questions on the scoring? Okay. Everyone's like, yeah, that's the easy part.
Yeah, right.
I already can hear it. See, I already know. I can look at faces. I've been doing it long enough, I can almost look at people's faces and know, Now you're really just, there's no order in these right now. You're just going to crease them all. So that's the first step, is just to go through all your score lines. And it doesn't matter which, at this point, it doesn't matter which piece is up or down. Okay? Right now, we're just trying to make sure we get all the score folds done. And you might want to do them each line a couple of times, because when you go to make it, you want them to move pretty easily for you. Okay? So that's all I'm doing there. Now, this is the part. So when I made this, the green was face up. So the reason I'm telling you that is, if you want a certain side of your paper in a certain place, you may want to look at my instructions. Green is the face up. So that's what you're going to look at. So it might make a difference in which way you do your paper. Okay, so we're going to start with green on the face up on this one. And you're going to fold, first of all, you're going to fold these 4 corners at 45-degree angles. So see where your score line is? Don't go over it. In fact, you go right next to it, but not, you want to try to keep it as away from that score, so when you fold it, it will fold nicely. Now, these bottom ones are more like a rectangle, so you're folding to the score line, not this score, the score line here. So again, you're just going to fold it up almost to the score line. Don't get on top of the score line, don't go over the score line. If you do, try to go back and refold it, because it will make a difference when you fold it up. And then you're just going to do that on all the sides. For me, it's easier to turn my paper and have the corner up at the top for me, but you can do it however you want. On the long ones, apparently, I like it over here. Okay, so now you're just going to fold those in. Again, this doesn't matter which direction. You're just trying to get them like that. Now at this point, you want to make sure, can you see how this is the smaller score width and this is wider? Okay, that's how you want it to be. You want it to be like this. You're going to fold these backwards. See, I almost forget the backwards thing every time I start to do it. And then these tuck in. You're going to have a little bubble. That's because that's where that little spine is. So once you fold it, go back in here, crease that really nicely out. And once you put your little note cards in, they'll lay. But it's extra pouches. You can also do it this way. It doesn't matter if you put the bottom up under or the top. Whichever way maybe gives you less bubble. But like if you wanted to gift it, you could stick some postage stamps in there. This note card is the smallest mailable size. So it is a mailable card. But you could stick stamps in there. You could stick a gift card, money, whatever in that little pouch as well. But for our purpose, wherever I did with my card.
Did you get a copy of that?
For our purpose, you're gonna stick your little cards in. Because they have dimensionals, and this little flower is just glued with the white glue. You're gonna put 2 on one side, whichever way you wanna do it, and 1 with all the envelopes on the other side. So it's really however you want. But if you kind of size up your pot with mine, and it could go down a little bit if you wanted, but when I did it, I was trying to make it to where my pot fit in that little cutout shape. So that's all there is for that. See, that wasn't too terrible, was it?
No.
You were surprised. You were pleasantly surprised. All right, then the other piece is, well, that's just if you want. If you want, when you get to these outside, you have little pockets here. So you could be creative and stick something else in there if you want. If you don't want to use all your gold on your card, you could stick a little piece of gold underneath of there. Now, Beth, I was telling everyone I intended to make these into tags for your bags, but my full-time job got in the way. So you can finish trimming if you want the hula girl. You don't have to. If you want the hula girl, you trim her out, and with your little scraps, you cut little teeny little feet. Teeny little feet. They barely show right there. I think I will take a black pen and just put a little edge on the bottom of the feet. But that circle that you have is already punched, and I already kind of did the grass cuts with it. You just need to cut it down narrow, and she is on there with dimensionals. Does that make sense to people? And then your little twine, you could close this different ways. You could use ribbon. I just used twine. You could do Velcro dots if you wanted. You could get the tiny magnets and slide little tiny magnets right in here, the little circle ones, and then it would clasp. So however you want to clasp it, but I just gave you the twine for today. All right. Any questions? All right, and let me just repeat since Courtney's videoing me on this note card. Stamp your phrase. I always recommend stamp first because if you do mess up, you could, like this one, see? I was trying my ink. This is the marker. This was me just inking it, only those words in the ink pad, being very careful. That was the better result for me. And then you're either using the dies or hand cutting your pots and your plants. And then these are on with dimensionals. The gold and the little flower accent is on with white glue. And you could create that pot however you want it. Any questions so far? Okay, awesome.